How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of A Playmaker's View. I'm your host, as always, Jamie Burdish. I appreciate you guys joining the show. Today's guest is Geo Camfield. I got a chance to play against Geo in high school. He went to Chaminade, which is in the St. Louis area. He's now over at Spring Hill College. He's pitching over there. Unfortunately, because of COVID, his season got, canceled early, just like everybody else's, but he was starting to make a name for himself over there. And I really started talking with him more after I found out that he worked out with Matt Firth, who I interviewed a few weeks back, the Max One Performance. Again, if you guys want to learn about Matt and what he's doing, any young athletes out there want to take their game to the next level, go check out Matt. He's doing some great stuff over there. But today's episode is all about Geo, his journey as a baseball player, where that got started, and kind of his goals for the rest of his career and all that good stuff. So I hope you guys get a chance to learn about Geo, check him out, and root him on as he takes on these next few years at Spring Hill and wherever the rest of his journey takes him. So without further ado, here we go. All right, guys. So like I said, I have Geo Camfield join the podcast. Geo, thank you so much. I know you've been doing a lot, getting things ready for the season and preparing all that good stuff. But again, thank you so much for joining the show. First off, can you allow the viewers to get a look into your life and kind of who you are and what you've been doing over the past few years?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. So my name's Geo Camfield. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. Basically, over the past couple of years, I played with the St. Louis Gamers in St. Louis, and we kind of traveled everywhere. And so I got recruited by Spring Hill College, and I've been playing here for 2 years now. And so I'm a redshirt freshman because of COVID, and yeah, so
Okay.
that's what I've
So,
been up to.
yeah. So, where do you think your story begins? I know you talk about the Gamers, and I've actually talked about the Gamers organization in my podcast before. I've interviewed quite a few people who
Mhm.
have been through that organization. So, before that, where did your journey start? Like, when did you first start to play baseball?
So I started playing baseball when I was 5 years old. It was kind of the sport I loved the most. I played soccer and baseball and a couple other sports, but baseball was ultimately my favorite sport. So I just kind of stuck with that my whole life, and as my dad's favorite sport. And we've always kind of had that bond together over baseball, and same with my grandpa. And so they've always played baseball, and so kind of grew up in a baseball family.
Okay.
So I started playing t-ball when I was about 5 years old, and there's just that's pretty much where it began. I just kept with it my whole life.
Gotcha. So, growing up, what kind of things did you do? I know, again, talked about the Gamers, but for you,
Mhm.
what other things did you do to train your body? What other teams did you play for? All that stuff. But as a youth baseball player, what did it look like for you?
So until I was about 12 years old, I just kind of played baseball and just enjoyed playing baseball. And then around that time, I realized I had to start getting serious with it, and my dad did as well. So I trained with a trainer called Chris Lucan, her name Chris Lucan, and Ryan Neese and I, one of my teammates from St. Louis Gamers, we trained with him, and so we trained with him for a couple years, and then I started training with Matt Firth, and Matt has really helped me get pitcher specific with my routine and with my training. And there's a whole nother level to baseball training, not just lifting for weight and lifting for you know mass, but to do pitcher and baseball specific lifts, to better myself
Yeah.
through that. So
Yeah. So, what other challenges do you think, aside from the lifts, like you're saying, baseball is so much more than, like you said, gaining that mass and getting stronger.
mhm.
What other things maybe that you struggled with or that you've learned over these years that have helped you become a better pitcher, maybe from the mental side or like just how you prepare? What are some things that you do, throughout a daily basis that help you become a better baseball player?
Mhm. I uh, I just always loved watching video and reading from guys who know way more than I do. So I like watching videos of younger kids throwing and what they're doing right, and just basically learning the game more and learning the metrics of the game, because the way baseball's going right now is everything is becoming metric based, And, I mean, there is definitely a mental side to it, and there's a part of baseball that you have to understand to, keep progressing in the game. But understanding the analytics of it all, and it's really exciting to um, educate myself on that. So that's something outside of training and outside of practicing that I do on my own to better myself.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And like you said, the game of baseball and sports in general, with the technology that we have, it's all changing. So that's awesome. I want to take a
Absolutely.
look back at your high school ball days. You played at Chaminade. So aside
Mhm.
from all the challenges that you had and all that stuff, what does that mean to you to be able to play high school baseball and be pretty successful at it? Looking back now, are you thankful for anything or anyone during that experience?
Yeah, really my teammates. I played with a lot of really good baseball players during my high school experience. And it was just a blast. That's ultimately what my high school experience was. Is just a lot of fun. That's was the most important thing with me at high school baseball. We just wanted to win. Everything travel ball aside, you just want to go out there and play with guys you go to school with, and it's a whole nother experience. Aside from travel ball and training, it's just go out there and win. As a unit and as a family.
Yeah, for sure. So now looking at it today and you're on a new journey in college, how is it different from your high school experience? And can you touch on a little bit about that experience you had in high school? What has that taught you to, become successful at the college level?
You know, the jump from high school baseball to collegiate baseball is, in my opinion, one of the biggest jumps you can make in your baseball career. Because once you get to college, you're playing with guys 4 years older than you, and not that you aren't in high school, but you have more time to progress and um, catch up in high school. And in college, if you're not, preparing yourself mentally and preparing yourself physically, you're not going to, run with the best of them. So I had to really train myself to, be ready once I got to college to compete and, win spots, because that's what it's about when it comes to college baseball is, you got to earn your spot and keep it.
Yeah. So moving forward, what are some things that you're excited about? You have that extra year with COVID, but for the next 3 or 4 years playing baseball, it's obviously something that you dreamed about doing. Everyone as a youth baseball player dreams of playing college baseball and eventually being in the major leagues. But what are you most looking forward to when it comes to the next 3 or 4 years of your baseball journey?
I'm looking forward to just continuing my training. I'm still learning stuff and I'm implementing stuff into my game that I learned throughout the journey. So I'm just excited to continue to get better, and that's really where all of my fun, you know, lies in. As I like to progress. I'm not content. I don't like to be content, and I don't think that to be a premier baseball player at this level, I don't think you can be content with where you're at. I think you have to keep getting better and keep progressing. You don't want to stop dead in your tracks and look back and go, well, what could I have done? What could I have implemented into my game, into my repertoire to better myself? And so that's really what I'm looking forward to is getting better. And I have a lot to learn, and I'm excited to learn all of it.
Yeah, so when you do call it quits, you're talking a little bit about not having any regrets. But when that day does come, because for everyone it comes, and you got to accept that. But what is something that you either want to accomplish by time when that comes around, or just something that you will look back and be like, "Hey, this is something that has helped me improve my life for the many years that I'll be living on this earth."
Yeah, like you said, it's clock's ticking for everybody. Especially as a collegiate athlete, is you don't have that much time, and you don't have you know time is the one thing you can't get back. And so ultimately, I want to be able to look back and say I gave it everything I had, and I worked my butt off to get to where I'm at, and not selling myself short because it's an opportunity of a lifetime to play collegiate baseball, and to be play even beyond that level is that's something you can't take lightly, and especially if you love it. You got to be able to love it and invest yourself in it, because if you love it so much, why not invest your time in it? So that's I just want to leave everything on the table. I don't want to have any regrets, and yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So the last thing And again, I want to thank you for joining the show. The last thing I want to leave with is you talk about all these things that, leaving it all on the table. But what is one message that you have for youth athletes that were in your spot or are in your spot that you were 10 years ago? What is something that you can tell them to just, cherish the moment that they're in and all these things that you're talking about? What have you done over the years that players watching this episode can learn and do themselves to help just enjoy the experience?
I love that you bring this up because it's so important, because looking back on where I came from, I had so many mentors and teammates help me get the right mentality when you're playing this game. Is don't leave anything on the table. Just work your butt off and have no regrets. If you can better yourself and if you can put in the work and put in the time and the effort to do something you love, don't sell yourself short because again, time is the one thing that you don't get back. And so, yeah, I really like that you brought that up because that's something that I look forward to doing once I call it quits. And I'm I really want to younger guys to you know be in love with the game, and if you're in love with it, invest your time in it and take it seriously because again, it's such a great opportunity that young athletes have to invest their time and enjoy something that you only get to do once. So
Yeah. All right, no doubt. Well, that's gonna kind of do it for us on a Playmakers View. Thank you, Gio, for joining the show. Hope you guys got a chance to learn from
thank
him and keep growing out there. And if you guys want to follow Gio, of course I'll link his stuff. He's got a few more years in college and hopefully get a chance to play in the big league someday. So thank you all so much for joining, and we'll be back with you guys next week for another episode.